Welcome to Burn the Ship. This is the podcast where we connect entrepreneurs with professionals that can help you go all in on your business. We talk to people that walk the walk, talk the talk, been through all the things that we experience as small business owners, and come out the other side with more skills or more knowledgeable about the way that small business works. We have been very fortunate to have a huge network of people that have been willing to share their time with us to educate on us on what we can do to be better business owners. So thank you very much for coming. I appreciate you dedicating the time to us. Anybody that does that for both the benefit of ourselves and to our audience, it does mean a lot to us. So I want to reinforce my thanks for being here. But why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself and your business.
Well, my name is Colleen Snow, and I am the owner of Pivotal Recruiting. We focus on doing recruiting mainly for the construction and the roofing industry, but we have branched out into other industries, everything really from accounting and CPAs to mobile phlebotomists. So it's really kind of a plug and play operation that can really go with any any industry.
Yeah, and it's something that's been more prevalent. I feel like after COVID, a lot of technology has been introduced. Your
Mhm.
industry's changed a lot in the last, kind of 5 years. Why don't you tell us your story? Kind of how did you get into what you're doing now?
Well, it started, with the roof. As far as the roofing industry goes, I had absolutely no background in construction whatsoever. My husband had been involved in it. He was a roofing salesman for a few years and moved his way up through management and was recruiting for a national roofing company. And I had literally just had our fourth child and was not quite sure if I wanted to go back to work. What did I want to do? I didn't feel like I was done by any means, but I knew I didn't want to go back to work for somebody else. So we kind of joked that he waited until I had had maybe a glass or two of wine and said, "Hey, Colleen, do you want to join? Do you want to start a recruiting company?" And the wine must have greased the wheels because I said, "Sure, let's do it." And with absolutely zero experience. And so now 8 years later, we are one of the leading recruiting companies in not only in our industry but in others as well. Just because of our dedication and really our sniper approach to finding people, the folks that they need.
So, what is day one like? You wake up the next morning, you drink your glass of water to fight off your glass of wine from last night. What are the beginning steps of starting something like a recruiting agency for an industry that you don't have a huge background in?
Sure. Well, he had been doing it already, so I kind of seen the game while I was home with our newborn. And I've been in sales all my life, since I was literally since I was a kid. I'm the daughter of a salesman. I used to take his samples to school and sell them to my
Hmm.
friends to make some bubblegum money. But yeah, when he said, "Hey, if you want to join up with this," I looked at him literally and said, "I don't know if I can do this. I don't know anything about roofing." And he said, well, truthfully, he said, "Just shut up. You can do this." And I am not one to back down, and I jumped in and just muddled my way through it the first couple days, and after a while, just with that gift of gab that I'm known among my friends for, it just worked out.
So, did you start off finding candidates? Did you start off building relationships with construction companies? Like, what is step one?
Sure. We had one client who was actually a friend of ours, and we did a recruiting campaign for him that went very well. And this was in Chicago where we had started our company. And it he told two friends, and so then we did a little more, and it just the word of mouth just really carried us really from day one up till now. It's only been in the last year that we've really been making proactive sales calls, because the industry that we're in, that word of mouth is gold. I imagine that it is in any industry, but the construction industry is kind of jaded. There's a lot of people with nasty reputations. There's a lot of people that I could that'd be a whole nother podcast to swap
Right.
stories on that. but really just being able to prove to these guys and women really too, a lot of women roofers, to be able to prove to them that, hey, listen, we're going to do what we say, and say what we do, and like I had said in the earlier, that really our motto has been to delight our customers,
Sure.
and making sure that we don't leave any stone unturned in that regard.
And then once you've got the word of mouth building relationships with
Hmm.
people in the industries that you want to place people with, where does your pipeline of candidates come from?
We have, it's been a real trial and error, different job boards and different, being able to, you know, leverage social media and put the word out there. We've tried ZipRecruiter. We tried, some of the major job boards, even, Craigslist, LinkedIn. Indeed's been the most consistent. I mean, it is the world's largest job board, but it, really mastering how to write ads on Indeed, and to how to utilize the budgets to make sure that it's getting seen by the right people. That was a lot of trial and error. It's a little more in depth than just slapping some ads up there and doing what my husband calls a post and pray.
Right.
Because really, you've got about 3 seconds to grab somebody's attention and make them feel like, wow, this is a place I want to be. I want to be a part of this team. These guys are awesome. And instead, what they're seeing from a lot of employers is just these big blocks of text that, I don't know about you, I'm not going to read that.
Right.
There's a reason why TLDR exists. Too long, don't read it. It's a turnoff. So we got to writing our ads in such a way that anybody that read it was really like, wow, I want to be a part of that. I do all of the ad writing, and I kind of envisioned in my mind, I thought, if I was sitting at a bar next to some guy that was, crying in his beer, that's, wow, I just lost my job. I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't seem to find anything. Hey, I got the opportunity for you. I've got something I want to tell you about. This is a great place to work. They've got all these benefits. They've got this, that pay, the sky's the limit. And it resonates. It really, really resonates.
For sure. What would you say has been your guys' superpower? What is the thing that you guys do particularly well that kind of separates you from your industry that helps you be successful?
Honestly, I have to say it's how those ads are written.
Mm,
They're like nothing that we see on the market today. It's a very conversational. We help the employers develop a compensation package that's actually going to work. I know for a long time there's been in ours and other industries, there's been kind of an attitude of, you should be lucky working for me. This is, and
right.
post COVID, people aren't going to tolerate that anymore.
Right.
They can go drive Uber or deliver DoorDash and make money. They don't need you like you think they do. And
Right.
they will go on Etsy and have their little shop and do their thing and make money that way. So being able to pull people out of their homes and out of their comfort zones to go and do something like climb around on roofs is really, you gotta be able to get to them and have them see the vision right away. And that's really what our advertising does, is it helps them see the vision.
Sure. And do you work with businesses critiquing their actual hiring process? I'll give you an example, right? And this I think is a business thing, right? My little brother is a college graduate, athlete, degree in business, minor in leadership, a lot of very hireable traits
Sure.
in today's market. But one of the first places that I created an opportunity for him for a sales position with a company that I have a relationship with. And their first step was reach out via Indeed and then do this one way interview, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure you've heard of this one way
Mm-hmm.
interview.
Yep.
And to me, he didn't do it. He didn't do the one way interview.
I don't blame them.
I asked, and I put myself in his shoes. I asked myself that same question. I say, what what is going to incentivize people to spill their guts on camera when being on camera is something uncomfortable to begin with, so that you behind a closed door can judge every
Right.
word they say, every mannerism. You get to build this profile of how valuable they are to you with no real understanding of the position that you're even applying for, right? And so
Right.
um they came back to me and said, "Hey, your brother didn't do the one-way interview. I just wanted to keep you up to date. No hard feelings, but it is what it is. We're not going to consider him for the position because he didn't take that one-way interview." And I've always been very frank with the people that I work. I feel like honesty is the best policy in
Agreed.
all aspects of your life. So I told him, "Hey, do you have any sort of success with that one-way interview format? I know that it to you it feels like it's easier to sift through what you feel is valuable to you, but you're missing out on the opportunity to hire really good salespeople or whatever position that you're managing in, just because this is a huge barrier for young people to put themselves out there in this way, only to be judged by people that they have no sort of relationship with." So that's my question to you as well: is do you take a look at actually critiquing the hiring processes of the companies that you're working for to better, bid
Ab-
them towards success?
Absolutely. We are partners with the people that we work with, and our breadth of experience, we've got a pretty solid feel as to what's going to work and what doesn't work. And really, some of the things that we see that are impediments to people in the hiring process is one, it's overthought.
Mm-hmm.
And people will put, for example, when we're talking about hiring somebody for an entry level sales position, we're talking, these are the guys that are knocking on your door and they're saying, hey, there was, we're in Omaha, Nebraska. There was a hailstorm. You've got roof damage. Your insurance company will pay for it. Let us take a look. This is, this is not rocket science. There's definitely a science to it, but it's something that a lot of people are able to learn. Okay. So setting up roadblocks from the time that they answer that ad until the time that they are, in the motions of getting their first paycheck, people will put in disc assessments. They'll put in second, third, fourth interviews, and just all sorts of stumbling blocks from A to B, and not keeping in mind that, hey, you ain't the only gig in town. There, these guys are, when I talk to candidates, they're applying to 9 million other jobs on Indeed, and they're going to go with with whoever's going to start that paycheck. And so a lot of people will tell us what they've been doing. They say, well, yeah, we get all the resumes, and then after 2 or 3 weeks we call them and see if they want to come in for a first interview. Honey, they've already got a job.
Mm-hmm.
You missed that boat. And so really, having that's been part of our success is getting people to that hire faster. We have a vetting process to go through and talk to these candidates so that within, I'll be honest, 5 to 10 minutes, after we've, a trained recruiter is going to be able to know and tell that this is a worthwhile candidate or not. And that's just with a phone call. So going from phone call to interview to hire is going to be a lot shorter route than having different steps and hey, do this assessment, do that assessment. If you're hiring for C-suite, or if you're hiring somebody that is in that mid-level management, yeah, they're going to expect to have those interview processes in place, because that's just part of the part and parcel of the job. But really having that, all those roadblocks, like one-way interviews, and you know honestly, my feeling about that one-way interview is there are, life is full of variables, and you have one shot in a one-way interview to make that first impression. And there are so many variables. If you're sitting there talking and your cat jumps up on the table, or any number of things happen, you blew it. You blew it.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I don't think that can be indicative of how that person's going to perform in the workplace by having one slip up on a one-way interview where they can't come back and say, wow, that didn't work out, but here's what my logic was, and let's move forward. Having that there are things that people try and take that personal touch out of, and it can work. And this is I think a lot of what you see with these AI discussions. There's things that it can be helpful with, but then there's things that you just can't get away from that human touch.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the analogy that I made hearing that story was that hiring can't be a horse show. You
No.
know what I mean? It can't be this arena where everybody's just surrounding you and you're paraded through this circle and people are bidding on you. Like it is there has to be some level of relationship between the
Mhm.
person that's trying to be hired and the actual company. You have to be able to represent yourself as some way other than just another opportunity on Indeed.
It's
And
dehumanizing. It
yeah,
it,
it
it it
is.
really
It's a
it really
language.
is. And honestly, having that experience, it just really part of what makes a successful employer and a successful interviewer, and somebody that is adept at hiring, is helping these candidates see the vision of the company, because 90% of these people are going to quit within
Sure.
90 days if they can't see the vision of the company and see their role in that vision of the company. And that's one of the biggest roadblocks that employers have. They don't think that this person's important enough to have that knowledge, or they're on a need to know basis. And some, obviously some of that is accurate, but these people, if they can see that vision, if they can feel like there's a role for me in this company, they are going to stay because they're going to see that role through. And that's what we really try and help people develop, is what do you see for these people. One of the questions I um ask my owners that are starting a campaign with us, is what's the career path, what can they do, room for advancement. Let these guys know that, okay, put your put your time in at this level, then you can go up to here and go up to here and go up to here. And that really is that's really a key to keeping these people engaged.
I agree completely. Um in your business,
Yeah.
what are some of the obstacles that you've experienced? Like what are some of the things that you've had to overcome, maybe that you didn't see early on that were surprises to you, but are something that other people should look out for?
One of the lessons that I learned early on, and it sounds pretty elementary, but I'll tell you what, it was a hard lesson to learn. I lost a client because of it. I thought that quantity was gonna far exceed quality, and no, there's no substitute. And really, it was a matter of shifting my mindset to just let's overwhelm them with people. No, we need to overwhelm them with the right people. and
Right.
and so really, that finding out exactly what kind of candidate and what kind of person is going to fit in each unique owner's office. Everybody has different company cultures, and so really delving in deep and finding more open-ended questions to ask these candidates to see, what you're more of, you're more of this type of, personality A, and that's not really going to fit with this type of personality, and in this office B. But I do have other opportunities elsewhere. So really trying to make that match was probably a really big challenge in the beginning. And then I think trying to, working within the roofing industry, they will spot a poser at 1,000 paces easy. So other than knowing that roofs went on people's houses, I I had to really school myself in some of some of the processes and products and go to conferences and really enmesh myself in this in this sphere so that I would have legitimacy, and it's not easy to create legitimacy in the roofing industry when you've never been on a roof. So that was definitely a turning point for me. But thankfully, I was able to lean a little on my husband's expertise, and that was he had been a roofing salesman for years, so it leveled out.
Yeah, sure. It's trying to kind of the one of the most valuable things that I learned early on is equating things in my industry to things in the person that you're selling to's industry.
Hmm.
Anytime that you can use that analogy, well, it's just like when this happens in your business. You know what I
Right.
mean? In a sales scenario, trying to put yourself in the shoes of the client is a very difficult thing to do, but it's once you learn that language and once you can replicate that thought process for different industries,
Hmm.
being able to speak their language gets dramatically easier no matter what you're selling.
Right. And that's one thing that I've really, that would be a hidden talent that I've been honing over the last several years is really looking to find common threads. I will tell you right now, I know just about every university mascot because the second that I see it on somebody's resume, University of Nebraska, go Huskers,
Mm-hmm.
or go Mizzou, or whatever. You find a common thread with these people because that's going to open them up and make them feel like, oh yeah, she's part of my tribe. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Granted, here in Michigan, everyone's a U of M fan, and my husband and I are big TCU fans. Well, that wasn't really too popular last year during the Fiesta Bowl when we
Oh yeah.
iced them out. So there's that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that comment, that finding that everybody is looking for some sort of connection at some level, even the most basic level. When you can find that connection and you can help link the two together from the candidate to the employer, it really is it's really a magical thing to see because now they feel obligated at that point.
Yeah, for sure. It's a um it's a unique thing as well. Let me put my thoughts together here. So like to be able to speak the same language and understand the obstacles that people are experiencing, I think is what a lot of people chalk up to the breadth of the relationship, right? When it
Mhm.
comes to sales, it's right.
Sure.
It's if I understand your industry, here's a problem that I can solve for you, X, Y, Z.
Hmm.
There are a lot of other things that go into the intentionality of a relationship, right? And I think that it's a very simple mindset that puts you in that place, right? If you're focused on solving problems for the people that are your clients
Hmm.
and you're focused on knowing them well enough to be able to pinpoint what is a good opportunity or a bad opportunity from them from a long way away, you have to have more than you know the sheet that you get at the NFL combine. You have to have more than your statistics on paper.
Right.
You like you said, everybody has their own culture. You have to be able to understand a little bit about everybody. And I think that goes back to the hiring process as well, is that to be able to reach and win and keep qualified candidates, people have to be able to see the culture of your company and understand the
Mhm.
opportunity, and not a lot of time. You don't have a very a wide window to express that you understand where people are and that you want to help them.
Right.
And if there is any way that you can get, like you said at the very beginning, the way you write those advertisements is, I have this wonderful opportunity for you. Not only does that come off as there's some value to be had in this conversation, but it comes off as I am looking out for you because you're
Mhm.
important to me.
Right.
And being able to prove that to people early on is it's a language. Like I
It
said,
is.
it's literally a language that you have to learn how to speak.
Right. And having heart, having heart in that conversation, and because you know when somebody's BSing you, when
Oh
somebody,
yeah,
and then and likewise when someone's being genuine. And we really are focused on having that heart. There are clients that we have that, we've helped them out when they've been in hard times. They've been, and they've been our staunchest supporters when we've had some lulls. So really, AI and some of the automation that you're seeing in some of these, in some of these campaigns, there's no substitute for heart. You just can't replace it. And we honestly care. If it's, if somebody is really struggling, we want to help them out. And that's, we are devoted to these people. And unless you have, you can't fake that.
No doubt. Yeah,
So,
there's no way to fabricate it. You either
no.
have to mean what you say and care about people,
Mm-hmm.
or it will
Absolutely.
be it will be blatantly obvious
Right.
if that is not true. You know what I mean? So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
if people want to buy something from you, if they need your help, if they need you in their corner, where do they find you? How do they get a hold of you?
Well, we are somewhat old fashioned in that, we still talk to people on the phone, and we haven't started developing our Slack or anything like that. But they can certainly, if they've got some recruiting questions, or if they want to run something by us, by all means give me a call, and that's on the house. If you want to outsource it to us, well, we'll do that too. My phone number is 312-366-6326. And then you can find us on the web at workwithpivotal.com. And if I may, Pivotal, because not a lot of people seem to know how to spell pivotal, unfortunately. I never thought that out when I named the company.
You shouldn't have had to.
Agreed.
Yeah, and so the way that we kind of always in the podcast here, right, is just talking about that experience of starting a business in general, right? Um, it's awesome to look back from the experience of saying yes to starting a business and the mindset that you were in at that point of your life to where you are now, right?
Mhm.
It's an interesting journey to look all back at it at one time.
Oh, yeah.
Um, what does it feel like to go all in on your business? Looking back now, what kind of gratification, both in your life and emotionally and physically, do you get out of deciding to be an entrepreneur and jumping in and committing to making that happen and overcoming the things that you experience as being a small business owner?
Oh, wow. There's there's so much. I guess to narrow the focus. I have been working since I was 14. Okay, I'm 50 now, and I'm proud to say it. I earned every one of those damn years. But really, that's a long time to be part of the workforce, and it was always for somebody else. I missed a lot of different opportunities personally and professionally because of I just didn't feel confident enough to make that jump. And I kind of liken it to being on a high dive when you're a little kid. You're sitting at the edge, and you can either jump off and see what happens, or you can climb down and do the walk of shame. And I'm not big on the walk of shame. I tend to jump in sometimes at my own peril. But I don't know how to be any other way. And really, getting through, having somebody leave us a bad review, to slow times and wondering, oh my God, did we make a mistake? um you know what? Stick with it. Absolutely stick with it. Keep showing up. Keep showing up even when others aren't showing up, because that's what's going to people are going to remember you for, is the fact that you showed up. And you may not always win every contract, but you're definitely going to miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So why not take one on yourself? Because no one's going to be a better boss.
Yeah, that's a fact. No one's going to appreciate your time more or be
Right.
more invested in your success than you are yourself, right?
Absolutely.
And one
Absolutely.
of the things that I've told people over and over again is I think one of the most shocking things about the journey of both a salesperson and a small business owner is how many people are 100% willing to help you work towards and accomplish the things that you wish
Mm-hmm.
to accomplish in your life.
Absolutely.
Myself being one of those people, my organization, I can speak on behalf of all of us. We want to see the people that we work with succeed. I am sure that that is a trait that we share in common.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But it's I guess the easiest way to sum it up is, damn, business is hard enough. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
It's hard enough, and then to do it disingenuously or do it alone,
Mm-hmm.
um, and trying to build up that confidence and teach yourself how to be successful and how to talk yourself into being strong in your mindset is such a hard thing to do in a vacuum. And
Yeah.
that is why we've built this, network of entrepreneurs that work really hard to make the things that they want happen. Um, and you're a big part of that. So I
Hmm.
appreciate you being a part of the network now. I hope to
Absolutely.
find
Thank you
some
for the
people in my
invitation.
network. Yeah,
Yeah.
anytime. You're more than welcome anytime. Anytime you got something burning in your chest you want to talk about, you come hang out on Burn the Ship. You're more than welcome.
Absolutely.
Um,
Thank you.
but yeah, if you have any closing thoughts to leave the audience with, please, the platform is yours. We'll take care of the video stuff over a couple of weeks. We'll get it to you.
I
We'll
appreciate
release it to
that.
the world.
Yeah, I want people to know there is enough business out there for everybody. Value the competition that you have. Learn from each other because you're going to do things that I don't do. She's going to do things that you don't do. There's no reason why we can't all pull each other up and succeed at the same time. And it really, I think that if you can do it with that passion, it's infectious, and you all will win together.
Yep, I agree. Thank you for coming on Burn the Ship, my friend. It really does.
Pleasure to
It
see
means a
you in
lot to me.
person.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I tend to leave the state that I live in a lot, so I might come up there and see you one of these days.
I'll
You
tell
never
you
know.
what, if I ever find yourself in Michigan, my husband will serve you some of the best barbecue you ever had. We've got a
I'll
commercial smoker on our porch that I'll tell you what, he's from Texas, so it can't be beat.
I'll remember that.
All right.
We went to Austin not that long ago, and
Oh, nice.
we went to the Terry Blacks and
Okay.
a few of the staples out there, and it was my first. I feel like my first real experience with some of the really really good stuff. So I'll take you up. I'll take you up on that.
By all means, just give
Cool.
me some time because you can't just slap barbecue together. It
Oh yeah, I
goes
hear you.
slow.
We'll let you know. I will let you know way in advance.
Terrific.
Yeah, cool. I appreciate it, my friend. You take it
You
easy,
bet.
okay? I'll see you soon.
Take care.